Boys. It's Jeff, reporting in live. I'm currently on the old exercise bike, just doing a bit of cycling. The reason being is that I've been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu recently, a lot of training in this gym, and also been going home, driving a lot. Over the last weekend, I've driven maybe 20 hours, 24 hours or so, and yeah, my legs just feel fried. My back hurts a bit. So I've decided really it's necessary for me to just take a day to just chillax. So all I'm doing today is just cycling on the old exercise bike. And I thought to myself, I'm going to be on here for around 2 hours. Surely I can do something productive during those 2 hours. And so I'm about 30 minutes in at the moment. And what I've done is I have developed a training plan for myself. The reason being is that normally I don't have one. I normally come into the gym. How I feel on that day will determine what I train. And that works for me because it ensures that I retain the passion, the fire, the desire to lift heavy weights and to have a good time. But that can only take you so far, and eventually your body will begin to plateau. Now, I'm at that point. I've gotten my personal bests about a month ago was the last time I got a personal best, maybe a month and a half. And since then, I haven't improved. I've still been pushing myself every day. And to some degree, I would say that I've devolved. In one of the videos I did 116 kg bench. I've now failed 115 kg 3 or 4 times in a row. In another video, I got a 200 kg deadlift. And then in another one, I did 180 kg for 7 reps. Now I can barely do it for 3. That's 180 kg I'm referring to. And then with regards to squats, I've stayed pretty much the same, but there's an evident devolution with regards to my squat repetitions, whereby I did 140 kg for 7 reps before now. And then more recently, I've been able to get 3 or 4. So something needs to change. My body's clearly hit a wall. My numbers are no longer increasing. I'm not losing the fire or the passion, but I think my body's just reached the limit at the moment. It's reached a plateau, and this is one that I need to push through if I want to continue progressing. So I've developed a training plan. This is pretty cool. It's pretty similar to one I referred to a training plan I used to do when I was training bodybuilding. Pretty similar. It's essentially push-pull legs, but I've got kind of an accessory day in there for my shoulders. And I don't really have that many exercises in there because for me personally, I prefer quality over quantity. I prefer getting good amounts of volume in on one particular muscle group. Let's say your upper back, your lats, versus trying to do a whole back session whereby you're doing bent over rows, single arm rows, deadlifts, pull-ups, lat pull-downs. It takes too long. You end up thinning yourself out and training many muscle groups very lightly, in opposed to training a smaller number of muscle groups more intensely. So with that philosophy in mind, here is my training plan. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can see it now. On the Monday, I'll be doing pretty much just bench and then finishing off with some flies for a good pump. Going to be going heavy on Monday. So I always ensure that I've got a heavy day in every session. In every body part once a week. So one heavy day for chest, one heavy day for legs, one heavy day for back. That's how I do it. Tuesday, with regards to my back, this is my heavy day. So I've got my deadlifts and my bent over rows. Both of these are going to be very, very heavy. And then I'm doing some light bicep curls to finish. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing some light, because I've gone heavy on these 2 days, light front squats for reps. And then also, let me zoom out a little bit so it focuses. Then some Romanian deadlifts and then some calf raises. The idea here is that I'm kind of frying my CNS a little bit and then kind of allowing my CNS to recover a little bit. I'm going quite heavy on the Romanians, but that just means more than 60 kg. So nothing too heavy, but heavy enough to stimulate the hamstrings. Then on Thursday, I'm going to be doing chest and tries. As you can see there, it's quite light. It's going to be just bench, dips, close grip, and then a bit of a superset, the overhead, and then also single arm tricep. extensions. Now I'll do those with the dumbbell overhead like this. Love them. These are probably one of my favorite tricep exercises to do. They're a bit, because they're such small muscles that you're working, it's such an isolated movement, you're not really recruiting anywhere else in the body. To do them sometimes may feel like a waste of energy, but it's a good finisher. It's good when you've already worked the tricep and the chest quite intensely, and now you're just cooling off and really just winding down with an easier exercise. So, single arm tricep extension, and then on Friday, I've got pull-ups and then bicep curls in a superset. I haven't done the superset on here yet, but it's my favorite set to do ever. I developed this superset quite a while ago when I was chasing a bicep vein. I used to be morbidly obese, and during that time, I dreamt of having a thick bicep vein that protruded through my shirt. I dreamt of it. And through my personal training, my developing of athlete training plans, I began to research how you can increase vascularity. And this bicep curl superset that I do is my numero uno. It's my favorite superset to do for increasing vascularity. It's just sheer amounts of volume, incorporates drop sets into that as well. So yeah, I'm excited to share that with you guys on Fridays. And then on Saturdays, I'm doing a little bit of shoulders. This will be very light. This will be a very light day. With shoulders, something I find is you never want to push too heavy. Shoulders is always light. Well, I've been going heavy recently, but that's very out of the blue for me. Normally my shoulders, I only train them lightly. I find I don't need to train them intensely. If I'm lifting heavy on my shoulders, it just feels like I'm going to hurt myself. Whereas training lightly, I find that to be far more productive, far more efficient, because I'm actually getting real muscle growth and I'm getting extra strength in. If I'm focusing on reps for shoulders rather than weight, I find that is a far more successful strategy than just trying to lift heavy weights. And lastly, with the final day of the week, we've got legs again. So what I do is I take a little bit of a rest kind of after the Friday. I don't do legs immediately, but rather I do my legs on the Sunday. The reason being is that if I'm training chest on Monday and I do shoulders on the Sunday, then I'm going to be far too tired to actually come back and train chest. Whereas if I do my shoulders here, then my upper body has a day of recovery so that I can come back and do chest. So on the Sunday, then I'll do my heavy squats and I'll do some light good mornings to get a good stretch on the hamstring. Now, you may be thinking, Jeff, every day? You're training every day, really? Because you guys keep in mind here, I also do my exercise bike that I'm on now. I do this every day. I also do stretching every day, so a little bit of yoga. Every day I also go on a 20-minute walk, more or less, where I do my Spanish, and then I do jiu-jitsu 2 times a week, maybe another type of like boxing or something once or twice a week as well. So I'm training multiple times a day, every day of the week. Some of you may be thinking that's overkill. Why are you doing that? You're just going to injure yourself, wear out your body. And boys, I have to say, yeah, if I was a beginner and I was training every day of the week, I probably would. But I've done this style of training now for years. In fact, when I was at my strongest and my biggest, I was in the gym twice a day. The first session was always a personal best. So I'd go in, the session was around 25 minutes. I used to run 2 miles to the gym, 20 to 25 minutes. I'd be in there, get a personal best on either deadlift, squat or bench. Then I'd come home, I'd run home again, run the 2 miles back, eat my breakfast, go about my day, blah, 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 blah. Later on in the evening, I'd go back and there I'd do bodybuilding. I did that for around 6 months, I want to say. Worked, I was huge. That's the biggest I've ever been volume-wise. I was just thick. Filled every shirt I wore. It made me look taller even. You know, like when you have big legs, I don't know if it adds inches on or anything, but it feels like it does. Maybe it's a confidence thing. But all of that led me to become injured. So I've learned my lesson with regards to lifting too heavy too often. And I know what it was that caused my injuries, and it was the personal best every day, followed by sheer amounts of volume later in the evening for the bodybuilding stuff. So yeah, I don't train that way anymore, which is in my head, if I was taking tests or I was taking anabolics, to some degree I'd be able to do that. I'd be able to recover like this. My body would flow a bit more freely, you know, and yeah, I'd feel more capable of being able to do it, because obviously steroids, you know, enable you to recover a bit better, enable things to flow a bit more freely, reduce the risk of injury, things like that. Never going to take PEDs, not worth it for me. When I'm saying that, when I'm older, in about 50, 60, maybe even 45, we'll see, I might start taking, you know, additional testosterone, but I'm not at that point yet. I'm a young man, I don't need to take it. My testosterone's fine, you know, I'm not losing any hair. I can grow a big beard if I want to. My voice is all right. Yeah, I don't know, I don't need to take testosterone. And plus, I think people are oftentimes jumping to take testosterone far too frequently anyway. I don't think you really need to. I think if you're a young man and you're under 30, there are so many ways you can enhance your body's ability to produce testosterone without needing to hop on any steroids. You don't need it. Sleeping better, eating more meat, eating less sugar, eating less carbohydrates, fasting. Now, people say fasting, that doesn't increase testosterone, that reduces it. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. When I say fasting, I don't mean fasting for weeks at a time. That will reduce your testosterone, but fasting 8 to 16 hours boosts testosterone. Exercise, as I said, so 2 types of exercise that will increase testosterone. Sprinting, number 1. Fast, high intensity, that will increase testosterone. Secondly, heavy resistance training, so deadlifts, squats, bench press, just heavy lifting, you know, and doing that in an unfiltered way where you're screaming, you're sweating, you're grunting, and you're not, you know, being too scared to make any noise. That will increase testosterone. Shouting, screaming, generally will increase your testosterone as well. There's studies behind that. There are so many things. I don't need to tell you guys, you can all use Google. I might make another video on it, but now isn't really the time. But yeah, anyway, what I'm saying is that I'm cycling today. My body is a little bit worn down after all the driving this weekend. Don't really feel like training. I can train, but I'm feeling as though taking today off and then beginning my new program tomorrow will be the most effective way for me to train. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also quite knackered from jiu-jitsu, if I'm being honest. I could put an arm bar the other day in my arm, my elbow, kind of feels a bit, not in a weird way, but just like, I can feel it, you know, all day when I feel my elbow. It was about 2 days ago, so not in a dangerous way or anything, but yeah, I can just feel it. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all I'm doing. I'm cycling on the bike, creating things, and now that I've done this program for myself, I'm not going to write down a diet plan or anything. I don't need to. I know how to eat healthy. Eating healthy and eating healthily always stems from eating natural food. It's not difficult really, as long as you're eating unprocessed foods, non-synthetic foods, foods that don't come in plastic, you know, like microplastics, you'll be fine. Like the second you find yourself eating cereals, chocolates, with the exception of maybe dark chocolate, what else are you eating? That's bad for you. I'm trying to think of the worst. Crisps or potato chips, if you're American, those are the worst, I would say. Fries. I don't know. I don't really want to go into seed oil. Anything with seed. I'd say the biggest things are seed oils and microplastics. Those two, if you can avoid eating out of plastic containers, that's numero uno. And then secondly, seed oils, if you can avoid consuming seed oils, then yeah, that's always good as well. Let me show you guys. My apartment's a bit messy at the moment, but you can see I even chop on a wooden chopping board. Now, some of you may think, Jeff, why would you do that? I don't want to eat microplastics. I don't want to chop up my carrots or my chicken and consume plastics from the plastic chopping board. I have a glass one over there as well that I use. I also, I I don't have a kettle. I cook on the hob. My water comes out of a pan on the hob, a metal pan. Non-stick frying pans as well. If you notice your non-stick frying pan has scratched at all, just replace that shit, all right? There are so many things you can do, boys, to eat healthily. Maybe I'll go into it in another video, same as the testosterone stuff, but right now I'm not going to. I'm just giving you an update on what my training looks like today. It's also worth mentioning, earlier today, I went for a walk, 30 minutes, and for the duration of that walk, I pretty much did static stretching. So I was walking and I'd, have my arm behind my head, pulling it back with my other arm. I'd have one arm extended out in front of me, and I'd be pulling my fingers back with my other arm, that sort of stuff. One arm across my body, pulling it again, standard static stretches whilst I was walking, just to really help my body recover. That's the only reason. And help with my mobility as well. So, yeah. Anyway, boys, I'm going to end the video there. It was just a quick update on what I'm doing on this Sunday, this holy day. And with that being said, I will end the video. So, hasta mañana, mis gringos, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm going to be on here for another hour and a half, so I might do some editing, actually. Yeah, might as well. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye, boys.